Pete, a real tough one this afternoon, another late comeback from our opponents, but we leave with a 32-25 bonus point win. I guess ultimately we must be very pleased with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think sort of we started quite slowly, didn't sort of stick to our structures and the sort of game plan we had coming in, didn't really play the conditions too well. So I think to sort of come out at the end of it with a 5-point win is pretty good. So we'll take that. We know we have things to work on, but we'll move on to Richmond next week and hopefully get a better performance.
Yeah, let's talk about the start to the game. As you mentioned, we didn't seem to get a huge amount of ball. I know it's the first away game where it's been pretty cold, pretty wet, pretty windy, so I guess there were some excuses for it. But then out of nowhere we scored those 2 tries from, I think it was Guy and Cordy, and had the lead into half time. So again, it was one of those kind of first halves where we were pretty clinical with our chances.
Yeah, exactly. Like once we sort of, after that first 15-20, once we sort of got ourselves sorted and sort of said, look, we need to play in the right areas, we need to kick ball a little bit more, play sensible rugby rather than trying to chuck offloads, stuff like that. That's when we sort of got our rewards, and we got those 2 tries. We were pretty clinical when we got down in there 22, and that's what we're about, like just good clean exits, and then we can play our own rugby once we move up the field. But I think we just definitely need to work on those first couple of minutes, especially away from home, when you know the home team are coming out of the blocks to come and get us. So as I said, like it's just good to get out here with 5 points.
I think it was 14-6 at half time, and then again we've done it a few times this season, managed to get the first try of the second half, and that kind of gave us quite a lot of breathing space, didn't it? It was a lovely line from yourself, I think, and then you released Seb Segman down the right wing, so very nice start to the second half. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like from kick off we'd break down the line. I think Landry made a couple of yards, pretty much the length of the field, and then I think they tried to exit and we turned over the ball, and then yeah, as you say, we're in the corner. So it's that simple stuff, like just exiting cleanly, just coming out of the block second half. I think we did that well, and yeah, it was a good try from Seb.
Try from Pat Howard to get the bonus point, but then it seemed to all be too familiar in terms of Hartpury came back. I think they scored 2 or 3 in those last kind of 10 minutes. I know we've got the win, but there's certainly a lot of fixing up to do in that last quarter of games, isn't there?
Definitely. Yeah. Again, it's just our game management. Just again another exit where we're throwing offloads and trying to sort of play high percentage rugby, whereas we just need to keep things simple, go to our exits. We've got good kickers. Ryan Foley's putting it on the money every week. Jordan Burns, same. So like that's what we need to do. We just need to keep to our structures. We know we have good kickers. We got 2 wingers, and the rest of the boys are at home. We're probably the best aerial wingers in the league, and we practice it week in, week out, and we just need to stick to it. Or we go long and then we put pressure on further down the pitch, rather than trying to play these high percentage plays, trying to play out. Like that's something that you do when you're maybe 40-50 points up at home in the last 5 minutes when you're playing a bit of champagne rugby. But I think away from home you just need to stick to your structures and play clever away rugby.
Yeah, I guess one of the main positives, we didn't seem to create a huge amount of chances today, but we've left with a bonus point win. As I mentioned before, you can't really ask for any more than that.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't a game really to sort of chuck the ball around. Obviously the weather's cleared up a bit now, but it was pretty greasy early on, so we were kind of driving a lot of ball. We thought we could sort of dominate them up front, and I think we did that for the most part. Our maul was pretty strong, so yeah, it wasn't particularly the most spectacular spectacle, but to come away with 5 points again is what we need to do. We need to just keep moving forward and keep focusing on those performances and just make sure they're getting better and better.
Yeah, you kind of alluded to it there. Are these the kind of games that you probably look back on in a few months and think that was a fantastic victory in very tricky conditions to get the bonus point?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, like the standard of the league has come on so much in recent years. Like there's no easy games really. I mean, you look at last week in Irish, just scraping by Coventry. You've just come up from National 1. So I mean, Hartpury have a very good team. They got a lot of young kids from Gloucester who are trying to make a name for themselves, and got a lot of experienced boys as well up front. So there's literally no easy game. So to get 5 points away from home is good. Like obviously performance wise we know we need to improve, but again, just looking at purely from a result point of view, like we're happy with that.
And in terms of your personal performance, so that break for Seb Stegman's try, and also those kind of late penalties to just nudge us further in front, when you look back at the game, they'll be crucial, no doubt.
Yeah, it's happy enough. Again, sort of the game management at times was a bit poor for myself first half. Just sort of should have been playing to my strengths, kicking the ball rather than trying to make breaks up the middle and stuff, and trying to push offloads and stuff like that. But on the main part I'm pretty happy enough, like, so yeah.
And obviously Richmond at home next week. We've got 2 home games in a row now, so looking to keep going with this run. I think that's 5 wins in a row now, so yeah. Very positive moving forward.
Exactly, yeah. Like Richmond will be coming down. They did well last year when we played them, so we're not going to take them lightly. We just need to make sure we keep moving forward week on week, keep the good performances coming, and it'll be good to get back at home and have 2 games back to back at home. We like to play at home. It's quick surface and that suits our style of game, so hopefully be a good game next week.
Glenn, again we made it hard for ourselves at the end, but a bonus point win over Hartpury this afternoon. Overall, I guess we must be delighted with that.
Oh yeah, no, we're pretty pleased with that, Shoppers, to be honest with you. We knew that it's a tough place to come. They obviously had a difficult loss last week against Richmond away, so we knew that they were going to be revved up for this one today. I think that, you know, seems to be the same old story for us at the minute. We seem to build a bit of a lead and then we let teams back in towards the end, and you know, it's just little bits of overplaying in our own half at times, particularly when the conditions were like they were today, and you just, you know, you cough up a ball in your own half then, and then it's hard to get out, and then they capitalise. So a little bit frustrating from that point of view, but 5 points away, it's never easy to come to Hartpury, so we'll take that. Yeah,
I'm sure it wouldn't be an excuse when we look back at it, but it was the first away game where there were tricky conditions. It was very wet, very windy, so to leave with a bonus point win, as we've already mentioned, in those kind of conditions is a fantastic result for us, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like you say, we haven't played in these conditions. We've not even really trained in them either. The weather's been so good, and obviously we're used to being on a 4G fast track pitch at our place, but then we have to get good at obviously coming away as well. There are going to be times, particularly when we get into the winter months, where we're going to have to come to bog fests and learn how to play in those conditions, and that's a learning curve for us, particularly, you know, our sort of half backs who are going to manage the game a little bit. And I think maybe we just got a little bit too carried away at times trying to overplay. I thought we had a great 8 minutes in the first 8 minutes of the second half where we didn't get bored of getting involved in the kicking game. Drew gets a turnover, kicks it in the corner, we score a try from it, and then we receive a kick off, and then we try and do stupid offloads across the pitch, and then they score in this bottom left corner. So, you know, that's just the sort of game management thing that obviously we'll have to speak to the halfbacks and the leaders and obviously sort that out, but hopefully it'll be an easy fix for us.
Yeah, well, let's look back at the start of the game. Pretty scrappy, a few errors, but then kind of similarly to Pirates last week, we didn't have a huge amount of chances in that first half, but we scored a couple of tries to go in front, and we must be very pleased with the way we're kind of taking our chances when they arrive.
Yeah, well, I was sat up in the stand with Wardy, and I sort of said to him 18 minutes had gone, and we've been in there half, I think, for 30 seconds. Yeah. And then, yeah, when we get down there, you know, we are clinical, we have got a dangerous attack, you know, we've got boys that can carry the ball hard, we can go direct, and, you know, we've got to be clinical. We sort of said we want to be a team when we get in opposition 22, we have to be clinical, and in that first half we had 2 or 3 chances and we took them, which was pleasing. It's just that game management side that we need to get a little bit better at.
Yeah, tries from Cordy and then Seb as well. How good is it for you? I know you do an awful lot of work obviously with the forwards, but then when you've got wingers that take their chances when they arrive, it must be very pleasing to see.
Oh yeah, they're 2 great players, you know, and I mean we're blessed. We've got a lot of dangerous strike runners, and there's a few selection headaches going on at the minute, Shappers, but it's good, you know. I think we've got boys pushing one another all the time to get better, and like we've said all along from day one of pre-season, it's not going to be a 15-man effort, it's going to be a whole collective squad effort. So, you know, it's great to see those boys taking their chances, and the boys back at home as well have been pushing all the way, and hopefully that'll keep us driving on and keeping the standards as high as we can get them.
Yeah, got to half time in a strange 40 minutes. It didn't really seem like anything had happened, but obviously we were 14-6 in front, and then another early try in the second half to kind of put us really in control of the game. That was really crucial for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, we sort of said at half time about actually, as I already alluded to, not getting bored about being in the kicking game, just staying incredibly patient. You look at the first half, all Hartpury were doing was kicking it straight back to us, you know, so we wanting us to make a mistake. And I think second half, like I said before, we started that really well. That first 7-minute period of not being bored, not being impatient, and then we take our chance and we get that lead. And then it's just after that though that seems to be an issue, where we seem to be letting teams back in, you know, and you know, that could just be a mindset thing, and it's something that obviously we're going to have to address in the coming weeks, because there isn't any easy game in this championship, Shoppers.
Yeah, after we got that bonus point try from Pat Howard, you've already kind of spoken about it, but I'm not sure exactly what the numbers were. I think we're 28-11 up, and then it literally just seems like we fall off a cliff. We gave a lot of momentum to Hartpury, but you know, it must be slightly concerning about the way that teams keep coming back to us in that final quarter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's something we're going to have to go back to the drawing board and look at, but you know, as I've said, I think it's more to do with a game management sort of point of view, that actually we're overplaying, and you know, we score a couple of tries, you get that lead, and naturally you get excited, the adrenaline's pumping, you think, oh, we can keep going here, we can score from anywhere, when the reality is they're chasing the game. Then can we go a little bit more pragmatic, not to be boring, but you know, because we can apply pressure via our kicking game as well. You know, we've got the likes of Seb Stegman and Cordy Redding who are fantastic in the air, with contestable kicks, you can win the ball back. I don't see it as being negative, and I think maybe that's a mindset that we just need to get across to the boys.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, the lead was cut to 7 points, but when we did get that ball in those, I think there were 2 or 3 minutes to go. We did actually go through the phases at one point, and the defensive sets as well. As big a cheer from the whole day from our travelling supporters to just get over the line. You must have been really pleased with the way we kind of rallied in those last couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think it's testament of the sort of the team spirit as well. When you know your back's against the wall, then you've just got to come in and roll your sleeves up. Particularly when they're going through the phases, they're chasing it. I thought we barred up. I thought a few of us absolutely emptied themselves today. In fact, in general, me and Woody spoke to the boys in the huddle afterwards, saying that we asked for work rate this week, and I think we got it in abundance.
Yeah.
You could see that the boys were out on the feet towards the end, and from a coaching perspective, that's all you can ask for. And then it's up to us then to obviously tidy up the technical and the game management details.
Yeah, mentioned it to Woody after the game against Pirates last week. In terms of it was a great win, but it almost felt like a defeat the way that we left them back in it. Same again today, but I know that obviously a fantastic away win. So does that just show the ambition of this group? The fact that we've come to a place like this on a tricky October day. We've got the bonus point win, but again, there's still kind of a few fix-ups that we need to work on as well. Yeah,
I mean, I think there's no easy game in this league. That's what we've got to get across. There's no easy place to go to. You have to be on your mettle every week. You slip off a little bit and teams can capitalise. It's a tough league. It's a very tough league. I've been involved in it. I've played in it for quite a few years, and obviously been involved in it really in the last couple of years. I know the challenge, and I think the boys understand that challenge as well. So to roll up their sleeves today as they did and get the win, it's not an easy place to go. Hartpury are going to win a lot of games this year. They're a good team. They're a well-drilled team. Good, sort of John Barnes and Cornwall have done a great job here over the last few years. So it's very pleasing to get the 5 points, and I suppose we'd rather be getting the 5 points and having things to work on than the opposite.
Yeah, that's 5 wins in a row, 5 bonus point wins in a row. It's been a fantastic start to the season, hasn't it?
Yeah, we obviously were disappointed with that first loss against London Irish, but we've got to wait all season to play them again. But we won't get ahead of ourselves because we've got to take each week as it comes. But I mean, we've had, like you say, 5 bonus point wins in the last 5 games. I think we're in a good place. The pleasing thing for us is that we're getting those results, and yet actually we still feel there's more to come from us, and that's how the boys feel as well, which is a great place to be. We can't sit on our laurels. We've got to be constantly looking to improve, and so that's the general feeling of the squad at the minute, which is a great place to be from a coaching point of view.
Back at home for the next fortnight, Richmond and Coventry at home. Richmond next Saturday, a local derby. It'll be another big test, won't it?
Yeah, big test. They always raise their game. They're not an easy team to play against. They've got a very strong driving maul and scrum, but they like to move the ball as well. And as they showed last week, they put 38 points on Hartpury last week. They're a dangerous team, and we'll have to be on our mettle to make sure that we get the result we're after. But a few fix-ups this week, few bodies that are nursing a couple of niggles, so we'll get them tuned up and get excited for next week, shoppers.